Hi class, let's take a look at example 1. Now in example 1, they're asking if the tables are defined as probability distributions. And for a probability distribution, two main conditions are needed. That is that the sum of the probabilities has to equal 1, and then every value for a probability distribution has to be between 0 to 1. So we're looking for these two conditions, and if those two satisfied, then yes, you have a probability distribution. So for instance, let's take a look at 1. And it looks like all the probabilities are between 0 to 1. But let's take a look at the sum. So in this case, if you were to sum the values of p of x, you would start with 0.528 plus 0.360 plus 0.098 plus 0.55. And let me add it. Okay, in this case, this is equal to 1.536, and this is not equal to 1. So we would just say that no, the table is not a probability distribution. Since, well, technically the sum of p of x, it's not equal to 1. For this to be a probability distribution, the values have to be almost 1. So you're looking at 0.999999, a value that it's almost identical to 1. Now, let's take a look at B. In problem B, we can actually spot this one and eliminate it just because that value. So we would say that in this case, no, the table is not a probability distribution. Since the values of, well, the probability of x is equal to 0, it's equal to negative 0.112. And the main condition that it's satisfied, and well, in this case, the values of p of x, it's not between 0 for p of x less than or equal to 1. So every value has to be between the values to 0 to 1. In this case, we can eliminate it. You're not allowed negatives. It has to have, well, the sum equal to 1, and then all values between 0 and up to a maximum of 1. So far, A and B don't qualify. Let's take a look at C. And C actually looks promising. This is because, well, the values of the probabilities for the values of p of x, we do have that every value for the probabilities is between 0 to 1. So technically, none of the values are exceeding 1 or are negative like the previous one. And then the other condition is the sum of the probabilities. In this case, we're looking at 0.10 plus 0.20 plus 0.10, plus 0.60. So that's going to give us 0.70, and then 30 is equal to 1. So in this case, we would say yes, the table is defined as a probability distribution since, well, the values of the probabilities, so we're looking at the condition that 0 is less than or equal to the values of p of x and less than or equal to 1, and the sum of the probabilities is equal to the values of 1. So once again, all these represent are tables that contain probabilities. For them to be a distribution, they have to basically satisfy two conditions. That is, the sum of the probabilities has to equal 1, and then also every value for the probability distribution is between 0 to 1. That's actually it for example 1. We're just checking if the tables define as a probability distribution.